Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Homefront Harmony. I am your host, Stevie Doll. One of the things we try to do on this podcast is we try to see varied perspectives. And I'm excited with today's episode because it was just Military Spouse Day, and we are going to talk about military spouses. And you know it's near and dear to my heart because my mama, OG military spouse. So we brought my friend Kristen in here to talk with us today. And we're going to have a little interesting story with Kristen because let's understand everybody's path is individual and different. There is no set one way things are done. So sometimes we head out one way and it ended up changing along the way, but it turns out to be the best thing that could have ever happened to us. It's not a bad thing. So, Kristen, hello, my friend.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I wanted to talk to you because your story is one of those ones that's a little different, but it still got a lot of impact. And I think it's key for people to hear it.
Okay.
So now you were the military spouse of an active duty
Correct.
service member.
Yes.
Okay. How did you meet?
So we met back in 2007 at a nightclub, actually, when we were very
Ooh.
young, early 20s,
Okay.
hanging out
Okay.
in Salt Lake City, Utah. And so I had...
Wait a minute. Salt Lake City, Utah has nightclubs?
surprisingly, yeah. A couple. Like,
Wow.
very few.
I did not know that. Lesson learned today. Sorry, please continue.
So we met in 2007. I had two children
Okay.
from a previous relationship when we
Okay.
met. So it was just kind of one of those things where I wasn't really looking for a partner, but ran into each other and we hit it off. And then we ended up getting married a couple of years later.
Wow. Okay. And what branch?
He was Air Force.
Air Force.
Yes.
Okay. So you had no experience with the military life?
No, I mean, I have relatives that served, but
Yeah.
nothing, not
Okay.
until that point, no.
Right. No parent was
No,
in it or
no,
anything
no.
like that. So was it kind of a shock to your system when you
It
first went
was.
into
I mean,
it?
to be honest with you, during our marriage, I wasn't really actively involved in like the typical military spouse kind of things that you
Okay.
would see a military spouse doing. I had a full-time career. I had I had two kids that I was supporting prior to meeting him. So I was just not in that world at all. And so when we met and got married, it was a huge shock to my system. Yes.
Oh, I imagine. Now, we've had a couple guests on here who have had their careers and their lives dove out, and then they fell in love with somebody, and all of a sudden the military is coming into play.
Yes.
Everybody says the same thing.
Yes.
I was not quite ready for
Yeah,
that.
right. Yes. Yeah. It was great, but it was just, different.
Everything in life is so funny to me because people can tell you all day long how something's going to feel or how it's going, until you live it.
Yeah, so I have friends that are civilians that have no military connection whatsoever, and they are like baffled by the things that I say and the stories that I have because there's just not a comprehension if you're not part of that world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, so how long was he in while you guys were together?
So we were married just under 20 years, actually.
Okay.
We
Okay.
stayed married. This is where the sordid kind of like interesting part of my life starts. We were actively married for about 2 years. He had been in already, I think, 7 years at that point when we got married.
Okay.
We had another child together, my youngest.
Okay.
And we stayed married, actively married, living together for about 2.5 years after that. I think the transition into military spouse or military life was a little difficult for me. I just wasn't used to it. It wasn't
Right.
part of my world. And so unfortunately we decided to split up at that time. So we separated. We were separated for about 5 years.
Okay.
And he, during that time, got deployed for several years. He went
wow.
on a couple of deployments, and then he ended up getting restationed in New Jersey.
Okay.
And so shortly after he got restationed in New Jersey, I had 3 boys. I was
Yeah.
a single mom of 3 boys at that point. You know, he was
Right.
very active, obviously, during that entire time. We were
Oh, yeah.
co-parenting well together. But I just was really struggling. And being separate, the boys being separated from their dad was really hard on them and all that. So we decided that I was going to relocate. And the military actually paid for our relocation, even though we were separated because we were still legally married. And so it was great. We actually moved back in together, and we were only supposed to stay living together for a short while.
Okay.
But New Jersey is very expensive.
It is very expensive.
So
a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So we actually decided to kind of live together as roommates and co-parent our children. And we did
Okay.
that for 10 years.
Oh, wow. For
Yeah.
10 years. That's a
Yeah.
good amount
And
of
we
time.
were, McGuire Air Force Base is one of those bases that if you get stationed there, you kind of stay. People don't really leave. So he was on the KC-10s, which there's only two bases, one in California, Travis, and one at McGuire. So there wasn't a lot of option for us to move around. So we got there. We were able to raise the kids. They got off to college, and then on to my second half, I guess, of my life. Here we are.
There you go. The restart.
The restart.
Chance. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the traditional life that normal, you might see normally, but it worked for us, and our children had a great life, and he was able to really go far in his career. He was able to be part of the kids' life and parent the kids directly and be there with them. And so it worked out for us. It's not for everybody, but it worked for us.
Well, see, and that's the thing. That's what we say. Every path is not the same path.
Right.
There is no right or wrong. There is no, it just has to be this way. This prime example, my sister and I just went to New York for a week. We're Broadway babies. We saw 6 musicals in 5 days.
Wow.
And it was fun. But it's so interesting because each one was so uniquely different and so individualized. And that's what we were saying. Parts of production are similar.
Yeah.
The end product may be a little different.
Yes.
How you get there may be a little different, but they still can be spectacular in their own way. And so I think that's the same thing when we talk about relationships, because tradition just depends on what a person visualizes in their mind as traditional, and not everybody has the same idea what traditional is.
And I will honestly say, Stevie, I don't think that I anticipated that being what my life looked like, but I will honestly say it was beautiful. My kids had a wonderful life. I believe if you interviewed my children, they would say, their life was great. The military provided a lot of stability for us. And they went to really great schools, and they were, we just were supported by the military, and it afforded us a great life. So,
which is awesome. Yeah. Is awesome. Now we're going to come back to the second half. We're not there yet. Just stay with me. Okay. But we're going to, when you guys got married, did you guys have to move quite a bit?
No, the only time that we moved was from Utah to New Jersey. But prior to that, he had moved around a little bit. He had went to Korea once before. He had went to Germany. He had been stationed. His first duty station actually was in Germany.
So that is good, yeah.
Yeah. So he, but we actually together didn't have to actually move much. We went from Salt Lake to Layton, which is where the base was located in Utah. And then we went from Layton to New Jersey. And that was it. That was kind of the extent of our moving.
Okay. And I know you said he got deployed after you guys were having a little bit of separation.
A lot.
Okay. How many times did he deploy?
So he did 2 tours in Korea. Okay. And he also was deployed when the kids were little to Afghanistan. Okay. And then when he went back to Korea, and when we were stationed in New Jersey, he was going back and forth. They had flights that they would take on a weekly basis, and they'd go TDY. So he was going all over the place a lot.
So, Kristen, we have a rule on this show. Yeah. If you use a military acronym, you have to state what it means.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I know what TDY means. Temporary duty station. Temporary duty something. I just always call it
fear on her face.
Like, I don't know. It's like, I don't call it anything but TDY.
Oh, you're adorable. Gonna keep you. So he did get deployed quite a bit. Now, I know that takes a toll.
Yes.
Especially when you're a mom.
Yes.
And you have boys and it's dad.
Yes.
That's a balancing act to have to deal with. Yes. And the first time you had to deal with that, I imagine was just as shocking as becoming a military spouse.
Yeah. I think it's the trend. So having them leave, getting used to them being gone is a transition. And then when they come back and reintegrating them into the family is a transition.
Oh, yeah.
And then there is some resentment because you're feeling left alone during the first little bit. And then you end up becoming this independent woman that's able to just do everything, and you're balancing plates on, and then they come back, and of course, being, military men, leaders, they want to come back in and lead the way. Yep. And it is hard. I personally struggle with that anyways, because I'm a very strong-minded woman and I'm very independent. And so, that was a natural conflict or a rub point for us. trying to navigate that. And it was not easy. It was not easy.
Oh, no. My dad would be out to sea and he'd come home and it'd be mom, me, and my sister, and we'd be living life just fine. And then dad comes home and he wants to do things the way he wants to do them. And all three of us, poor man, surrounded in the house of women, were like, what?
See, and I'm the opposite. What? I have all men, and I'm like the only lady.
My dad's joke used to be, when he was younger, he said he wanted to live in a house surrounded by beautiful women. You have to be specific. That's what he always said.
You got what you wanted.
Be specific, because technically he was in a house surrounded by beautiful women. It just wasn't the way he thought it'd be. All right. So now, when you got together with him, how old was your oldest?
5.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
so,
right.
And we had been, living just 3 of us for a long time. And so that transition actually wasn't as difficult as somebody might think. He actually was phenomenal with the boys. I mean, that was one of the reasons that sold me on the whole military life and getting married in the first place, is because this man just came in and was just absolutely phenomenal. And to this day is the best dad ever. Like, he is, I'm going to get teary-eyed. He's great.
Awesome.
He's been a great dad. So
good dad. Thank you for your service, and thank you for being a good dad. I like to hear those stories more and more. I think we get so focused in society on the people who don't do. Yeah. And we should more focus on the people who do, because there are far more people out there doing than there are that aren't. So yeah, it's just like when you hear of a bad thing that happens and they talk about the person that did the bad thing versus the victims. I'd rather you talk about the victims. Screw the person that did the bad thing. They don't deserve the press. But so now, when you guys were in New Jersey, how old were the boys?
So my oldest, I think he was 13 when we moved. So 13, 11. No, they're probably a little younger than that, man. Preteens. Okay. And then my youngest was 5.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, 10, I guess 10, 7, 10, 8. Yeah, you're asking me.
I know.
Questions.
I am. It's a podcast. See, so what we do on here is we talk, and I ask questions and you answer them. It's really exciting. We've got a whole show about it. Just hang in there. So, all right, so
preteens. 5 and then preteens.
Okay. Now, have any of the sons expressed interest in service?
Actually, my oldest is a Marine.
Look at that. Hoorah. Go, baby boy.
Thank
you for your service.
Yes, I'm very proud of him. I couldn't be more proud. And he's also a cop for the Philadelphia Police Department now. So
wow, multitasking. Look at you go, kiddo.
Yeah, he's a modern day
Make
G.I.
that
Joe.
world right. Do it. Make it happen. So, I have more friends that have kids that have joined lately, and my best friend from high school, I talked about it a lot. Her son actually joined the Navy, and she was so excited to call me because my dad was Navy, but he went in to go to the Marines, and he did the testing, and they went, you should actually be on a nuclear sub.
Okay. I have a friend whose daughter did the same thing.
Yeah, and he went, okay, cool, let's do it. So he is just living the dream. Good job, Trevor. Love you, bud. Cool. So yeah, it's fun to get to see that and see people have their own, will and drive to do it themselves.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys are in New Jersey. The kids are growing up, and we decide, okay, the roommate thing's fun, but New Jersey's expensive. Now, did he stay in New Jersey?
He is still in New Jersey.
Okay,
yes.
he liked it there. That was his place.
I think he'll stay probably. He has a spouse out there now, and so he's. Okay. I think he'll probably end up staying close to his father. His father served in the Army, retired from the Army, and he lives in Virginia. So it's close enough for them to kind of go back and forth and see each other. So I
thank you for your service.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. I love it. Now, so let's talk about, okay, the kids are getting older. The roommate things worked, but we're ready for second phase.
Yes.
New transition stepping forward. I imagine that was a little exciting and scary at the same time.
Yeah. So it was because I ended up meeting and falling in love with another service member who was nearing.
We're getting there. Stay with me. I'm not done yet.
Nearing the end of his career. And so again, you look at, okay, I've just went through kind of this whole relationship, and there was a lot of sacrifice and a lot of things. And do you continue down that road with another military person who is the transitions, even though there is transition happening with the career,
right?
It's just another transition. So but it was exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, we decided we did not like the military life. So we fell in love with another military service member.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. But this one was transitioning out of their service. So that means we were going from active duty life to veteran life.
Yeah.
Okay. And for those of you who don't know, her mystery man is Mr. Micah, who was on our show a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah.
So what ended up making you move here to Vegas? Is it a discussion you and Micah had? You guys decided, hey, this is where we want to build the life and make it happen?
Yeah, so we met in New Jersey, and then he shortly after we met was deployed to Korea, spent a year in Korea, and then his follow-on base at the States was March Air Base in California.
Okay.
So we were in a long distance relationship. We were kind of like, it was a military guy. I'm like, I don't know, like this might not be for me.
She's all, I don't know. She knew.
I did know about him. it was a lot. Again, it was long distance. I was clear on the other side of the country. If I was going to be long.
She likes the men in uniform. I'm just saying.
I do. I'm a sucker for a guy in a uniform.
I like men in uniform. My husband didn't serve, and I'm like, baby, put that on. Yeah. That look good. Okay.
I was for him specifically, sucker for him for sure. But it was difficult. We were in my kids were still a little younger. They were in their high school years. And so I knew that I was going to have to stay put for a while and get them through kind of school and things like that. And so it was a little bit of a challenge for us to make it work. But 9 years later, here we are. We're still kind of kicking. And so he retired, and when he retired, we were toying with where are we going to be long term, because that's the thing that people I don't think about is that when you are transitioning into civilian life, it's a whirlwind, and you have your mindset has to shift completely.
Yes,
you're thinking more long term. You're not getting told what to do. You have to make these decisions for yourself.
Yep.
And it can be very scary and overwhelming.
Yep.
Not just for the service member, but for their spouse and the children and all of the other people that are involved in that. And then also it's like, now you have free will. I get to choose where I want to go. And that's something that, you don't get when you're in the military, right? You go where you need to be, and you serve, and you do what you're supposed to do, right? And so he decided that he wanted to buy a house using his VA loan in Las Vegas. And I said, well, I guess you don't want to be with me anymore then, because there's no way in hell I'm moving to Vegas. Well...
Wow.
Guess what? Here we are. And I love it here. I love it here. It was the best decision that he made for the both of us.
There you go. There you go. All he did was put on the uniform, was like, baby, we're going to Vegas. And she's like, okay.
It's been great.
No, but I love that you brought that up, because that is a conversation we've had with several people. It is transitioning out of service is very different for every service member, whether they've served 4 years or they've been a lifer. My dad did 21. There's other people that have done 4 and they loved it, but whether it was due to injury or whatever, service had to transition out. And the free will is one of the it's the loss of identity, because you go from being to just normal.
Yes. Supporting Micah through that was interesting. He went and got several licenses, and he's trying to figure out kind of where he wants to be, where he wants to land, and trying different jobs, and, being supportive of that was interesting and fun. But it is, because they don't know. And they've spent, if you're retired, which he spent 20 years and 4 days. Do not forget the 4 days. Most important.
We never forget the 4 days. We even brought up the 4 days on the podcast that Michael was on. So if anybody forgot the 4 days, you're in trouble.
4 days of his life.
Yes.
So he spent 20 years in the military. So transitioning from that to civilian life, it was challenging for him to lose the identity and the structure of the military. Oh, yeah. So it was a long couple years. It is very much
a learning curve.
It was.
And depending on each individual and what path they take and where they go, you got to give yourself the grace to say, you know what?
Yeah.
This is not exactly what I thought it'd be to move. Let me try again. So now, your youngest is how old?
He's 17.
Okay.
Senior in high school.
Okay. Did he stay in Jersey?
He did.
Okay. Was that hard?
It's hard right now.
I bet.
It's hard every day.
I bet.
Yes.
I bet.
It's been difficult. But again, I'm blessed to have a great co-parent who's doing a wonderful job with that. And so, I've been able to, go travel back and forth and stuff. So Yes, it's very difficult.
I imagine.
Yeah.
I imagine. I mean, teenagers, so, really engaged with their parents, but still.
Now I force him to just FaceTime me all the time, which I'm sure is fun for him, but yeah.
Hey, but at least you got that. That option now.
Yes.
That's a great option to have. Now, okay, so the oldest one went into service.
Yes.
And middle?
He is in sound engineering in college right now.
Oh, he's a sound engineering guy. We do a podcast.
Okay. Trying to convince him to come to Vegas so that he can do things. So.
Dude,
fingers
crossed. Saying. It's a heck of a town.
Thanks for
Okay, so Micah tells you, I've got this plan. I'm going to use my VA loan. I'm going to buy a house in Vegas. And you're like, okay, you don't love me anymore, which is an interesting route to take. And after you had your dramatic moment, and Micah sweet talked you.
Yes.
Because we all know Micah sweet talked her. He's in sales. He's sweet talked her. My husband does it to me. It's fine. The salesmen do it. It's fine. When did you decide, okay, you know what? I'm giving it a shot. I'm going to Vegas.
So he bought a house here using his VA loan in 2021, I believe. And I was flying back and forth, spending about 50% of my time here. That was also during the pandemic. So I was able to do a lot of remote work and things like that. So I had the freedom to kind of come back and forth. So I was spending about 50% of my time here. Fell in love with Las Vegas. Fell in love with the community here. There's so much to do. If you're an outdoorsy person, you can, there's outdoorsy, but there's great restaurants. The community here is wonderful because a lot of people are transplants. So there's a huge military community here.
Massive, yes.
Big retirement community here, military retirees. So it was great. I loved it here. And being a local was completely different than visiting. So it didn't take long. I ended up relocating here in 2024 permanently, full time, the end of 2024. So I've been here for about a year and a half full time. Love it. He made it, like I said, he made a great choice for us.
There you go. He made a great choice for us. Now, what career were you doing? Because I know you had an established career when you met your first husband.
Yeah.
And you were able to continue working in that same career?
Kind of.
Okay.
So I was doing EA work. I was an executive assistant at the University of Utah at the time.
Look at her getting those abbreviations for
us.
Good girl. That wasn't even military and she did it. Good girl. You get a gold star. Yay.
So as an executive assistant, when I moved to New Jersey, I ended up getting on with the New Jersey Department of Health, and I'm actually still employed with them right now. I telework. And I work as a management assistant, or senior management assistant, basically operations manager for the Communicable Disease Service. So that's what I've spent the last 10 years doing.
Wow.
And then I transitioned again into real estate.
Okay, so wait a minute. I love how she just breezes over. I was with the health department during a pandemic, but that's fine. No big deal. Nothing really happened. So how much during the pandemic was your work
directly impacted with? That we were basically manning all response efforts.
Wow.
So it was a huge undertaking for all of the employees that were
now
there.
Having been in the military life for a little bit, did you find that there were some habits, thought processes, et cetera, that you picked up from that military life that you implemented in that career, like when the pandemic hit, that help you with what you needed to do for your job?
I think just state service in general is very similar to military service because it's structured very similarly. So that was an easy transition for my brain to kind of recognize okay, this is the hierarchy, this is how things work in state service, et cetera, et cetera. I also think that the resiliency that you get in the military and you see and you witnessed from people that you're around in the military, even if you're not a military member yourself, kind of played a role in helping my brain process the response effort, right?
Right.
So I would say the resiliency, and then just also it's very similar to to military service, state services. So
I would figure there'd be some similarities to it. I think that what is amazing is I kept from my father's service, and it's probably why I'm good in the security field that I'm into. I handle the situation first. I can react to it emotionally later. I have time to deal with that later. Right now, I need to resolve the situation in front of me And then,
Well, and I think also service. You're in service to the people, you know. So military, you're in service to the nation. In state service, you're in service to the people of that state.
Yeah.
And so I think that is another correlation that people don't recognize, I think, or understand that there's, if you are in state service, you are doing a smaller scale of what, you know, military members do every day.
So what led you into that role?
I actually fell into it. I was looking for work. When I left from Utah to move to New Jersey, I was young and didn't think, I thought, oh, I'll just be able to get a job when I get there. No big deal. And I honestly thought that I was going to go into private industry again, because that's what I had worked in my whole career up until that point.
Gotcha.
And when I got there, the state was hiring. And so I went and interviewed with a gentleman who is a dear friend of mine to this day. He's lovely. And he ended up hiring me, but I was out of work for 9 months up to that point, which is a whole other separate story, because that was a nightmare for me, being this independent person and, you know, moving to this whole new state. And it was a huge transition, but I was out of work for 9 months, and I kind of was like, I'll just take whatever. But it ended up being one of the best decisions. And it's funny how that kind of works, right? You know, so that's how I just kind of fell into it.
And that is a thing that a lot of people don't realize military spouses have to deal with. There is still a stigmata out there. Companies like mine are trying to get our clients to understand and realize the value of a military spouse as an employee. But a lot of them assume, oh, they're going to move, or oh, they're going to do this. And they have to restart their career back from square one. Almost every time they transition, a majority of the time, that's what happens for military spouses. Are there the one-offs that do not? Absolutely. But it is more of a story. There's a 25% unemployment rate in military spouses because it is so hard for them. They don't want to tell you they're a military spouse, because their feeling is you're going to automatically disqualify them because of that statement. And the shame is, God, the level of employee you're missing out on because you're paying attention to a label instead of to the resume and the experience.
Yes.
My father said, don't go by labels. I agree to that 100% in all areas of life. And I think that's so true, that it is sad that that's occurred. And your story, 9 months, is not an odd story for someone to have who has experience, who has the skill, just can't get the shot.
Could not. I couldn't even get interviews. It was, and I think part of that was the transition, moving from another state into New Jersey. There's a lot of factors in it, but that is a huge issue. There are resources out there that the military offers spouses. So I would say, please get with your, local offices to get the resources, because there are placement I didn't know about. I didn't know.
They didn't used to have them.
It was just, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I would have known that I had these resources available to me when I was, first transitioning to New Jersey, it may have made the transition a lot less complicated.
Hence why we created Homefront Harmony, for everyone to know the resources that are available to them. Because my mother, when my dad was in service, there was no resource. There was no military spouse employment partnership where they encourage companies to hire employees. There were no Blue Star families where they help military spouses when their spouse is deployed and they need help just handling the home front and dealing with everything on it. There were so many avenues now that are available. Do we need more? Always. Always. But we have grown so much. But people have to know what's available to them. And sometimes it's overwhelming. It for some people. They don't know where to start or where to go. And that's why we try to do things like Homefront Harmony and offer those resources to people so they can find out. Yeah. Because it's a lot. And if your spouse is deployed and you're transitioning to a new base without them, you have the kids to get set up in school. You have a job to find. You have the move to deal with. You have the stuff to handle. I mean, it takes a lot. Talk
about operations manager.
No kidding. No kidding. Yeah. And you know what? Every year they had an extra zero on that paycheck for you for that position. All right. But yeah, no, we had an advantage. My dad was in supply. So every time we moved, stuff was organized and handled well. My mother would have that house unpacked by the time my sister and I came home from school, most bases. Like, it was home. And I know that took work. And I know Dad wasn't always able to be at home helping her put it together if he had to be, wherever. But it made such a difference on our lives. And it's something that I think that a lot of people don't see, that behind the scenes mode to it. Because you carry the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Yes, it's
when
a lot
Dad
of
was
work.
out at sea, if the sink broke, Mom had to fix it.
Yes. Or find somebody to fix it if they're not, we're kind of the ringleaders of the whole thing, right? So, it was a transition for sure. I think that the military offers so many resources and benefits now, but you have to know that they exist in order to take advantage of them. And then also you have to actually go and take advantage of them, right?
Absolutely.
And I didn't realize what was available to me until after actually he retired, and that's when I actually started utilizing the resources, which is so wild to me. But there's resume writing resources. There are job placement resources. There's educational resources available to us. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And so just, making sure that you take advantage of those as a military spouse, because it's important.
It's very important.
And we deserve it just as much as the service member.
Absolutely. You serve right by their side.
Yes, we do.
You serve right by their side.
And
my
so
dad
do our
always said
children,
my mother
so.
served every year with him because they met in between his 2 tours of Vietnam, got married after he got back from the second one. We're together ever since, So it's you stand right by their side, So now you decided you're going to do a second act. You moved to Las Vegas. You have a job that's letting you remote.
Yes.
And you thought, you know what? I'm bored. So why don't I sell real estate too?
Yes. More or less, basically, yes, Stevie.
Pretty accurate description.
I wanted something to be challenge me. I wanted to, I have time now. I wanted to maybe explore some different things that I haven't had a chance to. I didn't, I had kids very young. I was a single mom. I got into the career field that I got into because I needed to put food on the table and pay bills.
Fair enough.
And that just I just kept on with that. It wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do, per se. It's been a great career to me and I've done well with it. But then I was like, what do I want to do? So I almost went through a similar transition that Micah went through.
Okay.
Where I'm not bound by deployments anymore or the risk of being, transplanted to another state unless I choose to, right?
Right.
I don't have the kids necessarily to take care of
They're
anymore
older
on the
now.
day-to-day.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just kind of in that same transition period that he's which has been beautiful for us because we've been able to kind of, navigate some things together and see what works for us. But so now I'm also a licensed real estate agent here in Vegas.
Micah had nothing to do with that either.
No, he did not. I actually suggested that Micah get into that career field as well.
Oh, the plot thickens.
So
I love it. I love it. Now, it is very different to do real estate versus operations management.
Yes.
Is that what intrigues you about it because it is so different?
Yeah. So I've always kind of had this interest in real estate. I worked for a real estate investment company early in my career, and it was really just fun to me. It was a fun environment to be in. I loved the thrill of like the deal and helping people and all that stuff. And then Mike and I actually started investing in property using his VA loan here in Vegas.
Yeah.
So we have an investment property here. And so that kind of put the bug out there for us. Maybe we want to, explore some real estate investments. And then we're like, well, why don't we just sell real estate?
Right.
And so that's kind of what got us into it. I think it's been something that has been of interest to me forever. So yeah,
that's very,
but
very
never
cool.
in my wildest dreams did I think that I was actually going to go and get my real estate license and be a licensed real estate agent. No.
And here you are.
And here I am.
Well, and nice because you have a perspective on VA loans different than Micah's perspective.
Yes.
And I think that that's helpful because sometimes they need the spouse perspective.
Yes. I think the spouse has a lot to do the spouse has a lot to do with some of the decisions that are being made, a lot to do with location, if you have children, school, they're the ones that are kind of driving the family. Because the military member is often, deployed or busy with work or things like that. So the spouse having the knowledge of the benefit is really important and powerful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Bill Gaylord was on, he does mortgages, and he actually wrote a book on how military spouses could sell VA mortgages as a career because mortgages kind of one of those you can do a little more remote than you would others. And it was phenomenal to hear the perspective on it, because it's I think that a lot of times we look at only part of the equation. And most military couples I've met, it is a united front. It is a dual decision. It is not just one way or the highway. It is a whole, and I always appreciate it. My parents had that kind of thing. My husband and I tried to do that in our relationship. I know my sister and her husband do in theirs as well, because the partnership is key. Yes. Especially if you're going to be together that much. Just saying. Yeah. So,
and Micah and I are conjoined at the hip. I think people think that we're Siamese twins. So,
my goodness,
we do everything. Yeah, partnership.
Just became a different podcast there. Okay.
Well, we're just we do things. We're running our businesses together. We're just in real estate together, doing it as a partnership, which has been very, very nice, because we spent so much time apart. In the beginning of our relationship, that it's been really, really fun to get this new period transition of our life and spend time together. It's been great.
Which is awesome, because a lot of people, when the service member gets out of service and there's all of a sudden home all the time, there's another transition that's fun to deal with.
Transition.
My goodness.
Right.
Because it is. There are I am a person of certain routines. Yeah. Like, my friends always make fun of me when I clean the house, when I do laundry. I have set days I do them so that it's done and I'm done with it and I don't have to worry about it. And my husband is a little more winging it in that world than me. And I'm like when he pushes the trash down so we don't have to take it out, so there's a little more room. And I'm like, just take the trash out. You can just put it out. Pick the bag up, tie it up, and pitch it. It's just different personalities. Yeah. But then we even had Dawn Novotny on here, and she said that Rob does all his own laundry and ironing.
Wow.
Right? Like, seriously. I'm like,
I looked out. Cool. Micah's very good about those things. He's very self-sufficient. He cooks breakfast for me in the morning, which is nice.
There you go.
He does laundry too. There you go. He'll take out the trash. He's pretty good about it. I would say.
Jim and I do a trade-off. I do the laundry at home. Jim's the one who takes care of taking it to the dry cleaning and then bringing it home. But he's so funny, because he'll get the dry cleaning at home and be like, well, that's not my suit. No, it's mine. Oh, if you have a hamper and I just put it in there miraculously, it goes to the dry cleaner, it comes home, and it's done. So let you deal with that. But yeah, it is you have to kind of balance and do. I am a make the bed person. I like my bed made.
We make our bed every morning.
My husband's like, okay, if you want it made.
It doesn't matter to me. I love that.
The other day I'm making the bed and he's talking to me and he just starts making the bed with me. And I go, thanks for helping me make the bed. And he goes, I did? I'm like, oh, this is working well. Okay, we're working. But it is, you pick up different habits and you balance things different ways. And, so I love that you guys are getting the chance now to be together, to build that life together. Because it's hard when you're separated.
Yes, it is.
And you love
leaving,
them,
coming back, leaving, coming back, leaving, coming back. It's difficult to, I think that was one thing that, in my first marriage, that was a challenge for us, is trying to figure out how to build together while both of us are independently doing things separately. It was a challenge. It was a huge challenge. So this has been very nice, because we've been able to grow, together and in this new chapter of our life, and it's been just a joy. I'm really enjoying it. So.
That's awesome. And there's probably, we learn lessons with the way we do things before, right? And then when you get a second chance, like you and Mike have had, you both are going, okay, well, that didn't work, so I'm going to try this, or because you have to.
Yes.
And it's what you do. And especially when you're coming out of that military life, whether you are the service member or the spouse, it is a life change that occurs.
It is.
And it takes a few tries and a few steps to figure out, okay, here I'm balancing where I need to be.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about finances, because a lot of military people, their financial decisions were just controlled. And then you get out of service and all of a sudden that paycheck isn't coming like it was before. And that, and now I have to decide how I'm going to save up my money and do. And so that really is a big adjustment for a lot of people.
Navigating life after retirement from the financial standpoint is also very scary because for the first time in your whole life, you're on this fixed income.
Right.
It can be challenging, I think. Planning ahead, having a good, solid plan in place is very important. I think not overextending yourself.
Yeah.
And then if you're willing to work after, if you've spent 20 years in the military, right? Really exploring those options. That was one thing that I admired about Micah is that he went out there and really dug into some different things. And we settled on real estate, but there was a lot of things that were tried and opportunities that were pursued. And this is kind of what fit for us. But it was just the willingness to kind of get out there and try some new things. And that takes a lot of courage.
Oh, it does. It does. And you have to, again, I say this all the time, you have to give yourself grace. Say you researched and you picked a path and this is what you thought it was going to be. And then you get in it and you go, oh, it's not really what I thought it'd be. That's kind of interesting. You're allowed that freedom.
Correct.
Okay. You served your country.
You
You're allowed that freedom. You supported your spouse as they served the country. You are allowed that freedom to take those steps to figure out what's best for you. Everybody deserves to do something they enjoy doing, whether you are passionate about your job or your job allows you to be passionate about something outside of it. Everybody deserves that.
So. And it was an absolute joy and honor to be honest with you, because I adore Micah. I love him to pieces. I was so excited for him to try things and to be, and I think that it's very important to be supportive of the military person when they get out of the military in that, because it's hard. It wasn't easy for him. It wasn't like, walk in the park per se, right?
Yeah.
It was a couple of years of some trial and error. And I think that just really showing up in a supportive way is very important. Whether it's your spouse or a friend or your son or your, uncle or brother, if the service member is getting out, just realizing it's a huge identity shift for them. And it's going to take a couple of solid years to kind of figure it out.
Oh, absolutely. And we've had different guests on here. And what I've noticed is the officers' wives, military spouses are like, it really wasn't that big a deal. It really wasn't a different deal. Then you hear from the enlisted military spouses. It's a little different dynamic when it goes from the officer and the enlisted. And I think that part of it too is the enlisted have a little more. My father was enlisted. He was very, very good at the military life. And when he got out, he was naturally a creative person. So watching that evolve, he could do sales and he could do other stuff. But at the end of the day, it was his creativity that was his gut and where he felt. And so it's fun to do these different interviews with the different levels and hearing which paths they went. We've had a lot of people leave the military and pursue creative pursuits, whether it's in the sales world or not. But giving themselves that freedom makes me so proud that they take it.
1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah. And so. I mean, and because you have something so structured and you've been, here's the other thing. Enlisted versus somebody that's commissioned, you don't get, a commissioned officer gets more of luxury in choosing their career path in the military, where an enlisted person probably is getting told what they're going to do, right?
Really?
So you get, I know there's some exceptions to that, but for the most part, you're getting told this is the job that we have available, and you're going into it, right? So I can see where an officer might have an easier time transitioning back out to civilian world because they probably chose the career that they were kind of going into in the first place. Enlisted didn't. They kind of got, much like myself, got handed a deal, and you make the best out of it, and you do what you need to in service of your country and your family and all the things. So getting out of the military when you're an enlisted person, having the freedom of choice, being able to really sink your teeth into that's an interesting time for them.
When we started this podcast, I did it to live on my father's legacy, and I'm on my own legacy now. But when we were at his memorial service, one of the gentlemen who served under him told a story that resonates with me, and half of the reason that I pushed this to move forward with this. And he said that when he joined the Navy, he was put at the gate. So whenever you're at a base, there are guards at the gate that check IDs and let everyone in. And when you get put in there, it's kind of you're stuck in here position, and you're going to do your 4 years and you're going to walk out. And my dad met him, and my dad was a petty officer, first class, I believe, at the time. My dad liked him. So my dad walked up to him and he handed him a supply book because he was running supply. And he said, "You're going to take the test and you're going to come work for me." And the guy thought my dad was crazy. He said, "Nobody gets you out of this position." 2 weeks later, he took the test. He passed and he ended up working in supply. And he said the reason he had a 20-year career in the Navy was because my father saw something in him nobody else saw. And I like to believe there are still individuals like that in our service, helping those other service members, maybe finding something they didn't realize they really would like to do and could have an amazing career at, and that it continues on to this day paying forward. Because I'm trying to pay it forward by doing this. Hopefully there are those of you out there paying it forward in your service to our country, and we appreciate you for it. I appreciate you coming in, Kristen, and telling us your story. It was wonderfully fascinating, and I love it because it was so different from everything else we've had here, so people know every story is unique and individual. Yes. So thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being a hero on the home front and continuing falling in love with another military guy. She likes her military men.
I do.
So we appreciate it. We appreciate your son's service. Thank you for being here with us. We love it, love it, love it, my dear. And, you know, real estate, just saying.
Yeah. And thank you for everything that you're doing. It's appreciated.
Thank you. Hopefully we're doing something. All right, my friends, you know what time it is. It's time to like, follow, share. We are on YouTube. We are on Spotify. We are on Apple Podcasts. We have our website, homefrontharmony.org. If we don't have a resource on there you think we need, tell us. We will make sure we get it on there for you. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time. Have a great rest of your day.
Faded photographs, covered now with lines increasing, tickets torn in half.